Yo, what is good, my anime people? What is good, yo? Fairy tale, holy. I am very surprised people have jumped on the main bandwagon of just hating on this anime when it has some of the better, um, like little setups that I like, and that I've seen used more and more in newer animes than the older ones. And I thought it was interesting that Fairy Tail being one of these animes that I think does some of the battles and like some of the just power ups or just like different abilities that people can use. I think they always come up with very interesting things. But that being said, it does make sense why some of the fandom gets mad when like friendship is really the only true reason why some of the battles are won, or just the fact that whenever somebody is in trouble, they usually never get, no one actually gets hurt. So for some reason, that's a problem for people for Japanese people that actually a read the manga and was reacting to some of this stuff I'm hearing about is they wanted certain characters to not bite the dust, and if they did bite the dust, they were all just voting negatively against the decision to do something like that to certain characters. So, as we know, writers and stuff, they should really just go with how they feel or how they see things in their own eyes. But when it comes down to business, when it comes down to making money, that can sometimes blind you and make you make choices that you might not have made in the first place. So now we're in a position where people already know the whole entire story and they're just making more and more effort to put out any and everything that happens in the manga um, in the front light. Like if you really look for it, you'll find all of the fairy tale manga chapters pretty easily, unless the companies like shut down the channels or made people like copyrighted their videos or whatever. Then they might not be up. But if that hasn't happened, there's very easy sources to find um, exactly what could happen throughout the whole anime, and people are using that and pretty much going with it in the reviews. So I honestly think if you give Fairy Tail enough time to let all these episodes out, if you really don't want to keep up with it on a weekly thing, that's why this channel's here. I'm gonna be honest with you. Um, this episode was like it felt slow, only in the aspect of the Lucy part. Like that was the only slow real thing that happened was this girl's supposed weakness was like her allergy to pollen and she was sneezing and stuff, which not to mention she was about to get into a pretty big fight with Lucy and just ends up not getting in a fight, like they just end up completely just smoshing it. So that kind of sucked. I seen this cutscene. I can actually skip it. Cool. Um, that kind of sucked that we didn't get to see exactly what Lucy could do at this moment, but it was kind of obvious what would happen. So to see anything uh, like different happen in that aspect or at that moment where Lucy is definitely outclassed in all ways, and then one other person shows up, Kana, and it's like, oh, now Lucy has a chance. Like, no, there was really no chance at all. So if that is something people were expecting, was Lucy to come out and start throwing hands or something this week, yeah, that wasn't gonna happen, including with the setup. of her being in the bathtub and stuff like that. But overall, we're going to just have to see more and more where the powers are going to keep coming from. Because right now, we were waiting for supposedly um, Natsu, Gajiel, and whoever was left over with them to destroy the whole entire Western fleet. And they ended up doing so after a while. So it just goes to show you how easily it is for some of these characters who are, the mainstay characters, always getting into fights with people who don't even really stand chances, are going to get blown away off screen. So that's always good. They're not going to waste a whole bunch of time showing us every single aspect of the fight with them destroying a whole fleet of no names, So right, good on them for not doing that. They could definitely let it rock. They could just be uh, trying to show as much content as possible, but instead they're trying to really just give all the good fights and the good moments from the manga, I guess, a good showing, because I would guess they didn't show a whole entire fleet of people just fighting the Fairy Tail Guild members, while everything was going on at that one point. So nice to see that aspect. I do expect to get a little bit more backstory overall, but if not, I'm not gonna be super angry. I mean, all we know is this group of people are continuously attacking, and even after we find out that someone who was strong enough to give everybody kind of a run for their money by having their weaknesses be on display, we easily saw that he wasn't, anything really to be worried about overall. And because of that, it was funny to then see him all the way back on a ship shooting a giant blaster the exact way we shot one at the main captain's ship. So if you think of it like that, it's kind of like an eye for an eye at that point. So it's pretty fun to watch just how this whole entire battle is playing out. Nothing has really stopped. Like, the battle has never taken a pause since it's kicked off, and that's really epic in my eyes. Not to mention, we have some characters that just, like I was saying in my last review, they don't get that much screen time, and they're usually the ones that put up the most fight in the beginning. They use all of their abilities, but out of what we usually see, we actually see Urza being one of the people to actually throw out her whole entire energy, in the sense of, we need to straight up fight as hard as possible to win this fight. But she had a good reason to do so, seeing how she was fighting one of the 12. If you take out a 12 and he is out for the battle the rest of the duration of the fight, that's definitely worth throwing all your power into it. So I truly, truly want to see where all of this plays along. Ooh, a new character. But if it does so happen to play out in the sense of all of the Fairy Tail members getting just totally wrecked, it's going to be one hell of a ride, because supposedly that is what happens. If you guys watched the first episode of this whole entire beginning, the Fairy Tail members have nothing. It's just a handful of them. They don't have a guild, and they start talking about this is going to be the final battle and stuff, So all of the foreshadowing really helps even grow more the point of, if Urza recovers all of her magic and can fight again in a different day, like a whole day goes by and she's about to fight in a whole nother day, that goes to show me that the other team might have that same, ability to recover. So that's where the fun really comes into play now, is anybody gets to get out of this. Dang! Okay, if anybody gets to get out of this, they're trying to get the guards to come in there. Um, it should be pretty easy to see in the sense of who shows up to be able to take on all of the fairy tale members. And if he does show up to take on the fairy tale members, they probably are just going to get wrecked. And from the credits that I've seen, or like in the previews, it looks like Zareth could be that person. So yeah, it would all make a lot of sense if Zareth is the one who comes to Fairy Tale and straight up just ends it all. So we'll see how it all plays out. Other than that, though, I want to just see where um, I want to see where the abilities and like what they're waiting for in the sense of Zareth. Does he know that he has the upper hand with just 5 soldiers compared to like the Spriggan 12? That's where it comes down to this whole why is he's sending out all these people? It's not working against one guild, and now more people from other guilds are showing up. What is he gonna throw at him next? And seemingly this man's about to throw a whole entire body at him, aka himself, to pretty much get this figured out if he has to. So not sure what's going to happen overall, but I do hope that Natsu gets a little bit of a fair fight in. He's literally in the previews fighting a whole entire army by himself. So if that is the case, we just might see Natsu versus Zareth, like it says in the preview credits, for quite a while. Like we might actually see a decent long fight. And if that is the case, it'll be pretty fun to know that one or the other are going to learn a good amount about each other in the sense of fighting style, or if Zareth even needs to quote unquote fight back and he just slaps Natsu like it's nothing. That's going to be a problem. So I'm really interested to see how they play this out. Overall, Fairy Tail, I feel like, is doing an amazing job for its final hurrah, but everybody's gonna have their own reasoning why they hate or love the show. So, regardless of that, I did, want to see Brandish go off, but to think that they're taking her inside of the Fairy Tail Guild, where it would be easier for her to then control the size of just the guild instead of the whole entire city, seemed like a pretty dumb move to me. Like, oh yeah, let's take her from outside of Lucy's house that she shrank just because she felt like it and felt like fighting, and now let's take her into the Fairy Tale Guild, where if we lose the whole guild, it could, become a problem where we're just scattered about. We don't have a main base of operation. Hence why um, the giant ship from Blue Pegasus comes in and saves all of Fairy Tale, because with Fairy Tail's guild being wiped out at any time, it kind of just gives the enemy that much more of a push of momentum, in my opinion. And I'm just talking about war strats and stuff like that. So I'm not sure if that's how they're going to go with it, but if it was me and I saw that we destroyed their guild hall, I would feel a lot better about what we're doing as a unit. So with all that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode as much as I did, or at least let me know why you didn't enjoy it, because I enjoy talking about anime regardless of it being hate or love, or mutual, regardless. As long as we're talking about it, we learn something, or we just get out our opinions. That definitely does more for us than just being mad at a series and holding on to hatred for no reason, in my opinion. But that's just me. I know not everybody feels like that, so let me know in the comments down below, or just wherever, if there's other shows that you kind of have that you um, think gets unfairly treated because of like a stigma throughout one part of it, but because that thing is there, people judge the whole entire show upon it. So I don't know if anyone else feels like that, but I will soon know if you guys actually are commenting in here and stuff like that. So have a good one. I will talk to you in the next one. And the one thing I do want to see that hasn't seemingly happened is I want to see my boy Guildarts. Where is Guildarts, bruh? Guildarts, the main reason why I'm on this, still in this series. To be fair. So, with that, everybody, I will talk to you in the next one. Take care and peace. It don't look so good.